With pandemic challenges in our schools. As more kids head back home for remote learning, the problem of connecting to the internet will raise its head again for some. KGW's Pat Doris spent the day asking questions about this, and he joins us now live. Pat?
Well, Laurel, it's obviously a big deal, and it's a fairness issue that can put some kids who live in rural areas and some that are not white at a real disadvantage when it comes to high-speed internet connections.
High-speed internet used to be a luxury. Now it's a necessity for many who work from home and once again learn from home. The technology leader of Portland Public Schools says the district is ready.
It's a priority of ours to make sure that students remain connected to schools, and you have to have internet access to do that. So those students that don't have it at home, we will certainly find a way to get them the connectivity that they need.
Portland handed out 3,000 hotspots to students the last time schools were remote in this pandemic, and they told the students to hang on to them, even as classes started back up in person this year. A hotspot can connect a computer to the internet when the home does not have internet service. Already this week, the district has handed out 400 more and says it has thousands of additional hotspots available if students need them. Internet access is not even. Data put out by the Oregon Office of Economic Analysis using Census Bureau numbers from 2018 shows that in the metro area, white non-Hispanic students have a greater likelihood of having internet access at home compared to BIPOC students, even as family income rises. Another report using numbers from 2020 shows, perhaps unsurprisingly, that students in the metro area are more likely to have access to the internet at home than kids in rural areas. Keeping students connected is a huge issue. It came up Tuesday night during this meeting of the Portland Public School Board. Don Wolf told me that internet speed is a problem for some students.
There are some students that are in outlying areas. That's a problem of not reinvesting in the infrastructure as a society, that there are pockets that are a little bit darker and have less connectivity available to them.
A couple of years ago, Portland voters approved a huge bond issue for schools. As part of it, this year, the district bought 40,000 Chromebook computers, one for every student in the third grade and above to use while they're in school at Portland Public. It's making this temporary transition back to remote easier since everybody already has their laptop.
And there's another second huge issue involved with all this that has nothing to do with the internet. It has to do with families and parents. The Oregon Office of Economic Analysis put out a report in 2020 taking a look at the number of families that don't have anyone to stay home with the kids. They found there's 350,000 people in Oregon who are head of households and have no other adult to watch over the kids. They said it's mostly two-parent families where both parents are working, and the income ranges between $65,000 and $110,000 a year. So if you're in that category, maybe it helps to know there's a lot of other people in that boat with you. Back to you.
This is challenging for so many people involved. Thank you, Pat. Big news surrounding the Portland Trail Blazers tonight. Franchise player Damian Lillard is going to need surgery to address an abdominal injury. He's expected to be out 6 to 8 weeks at least. Then he'll be reevaluated. This is according to sources with multiple sports outlets, including ESPN and The Athletic. The Blazers start a 6-game road trip tomorrow, and we send our best wishes to Damian. Caught on camera, a burglar casing a Southeast Portland bar hours before an overnight heist. You can see the man taping over the bar's motion sensors. The break-in is costing that business owner more than $5,000, and Mike Benner spoke to the owner. Mike, he has been broken into twice in a matter of hours?
Yeah, that's right, Laurel. It is hard to believe. Nick Peck owns a handful of bars and restaurants across Portland. He says his businesses have been hit a number of times since the start of the pandemic, 2 of them just this past weekend. Listen to how Peck describes one of those.
It's like a movie. It really is like a movie.
Nick Peck is still in disbelief over what he discovered at one of his businesses. Peck arrived at Thatcher's in the Montevilla neighborhood Monday morning to find a damaged back door and a damaged ATM.
It just didn't make sense. Makes his way.
It didn't make sense because Peck's security system never alerted him to a break-in. So he started scouring his security footage. Peck stumbled across this: a man during business hours Sunday putting tape over the motion sensors scattered around the bar. Bold, isn't it? Apparently not for this guy. Cameras actually captured him enjoying a drink while he cased the place.
This guy's a professional thief. I mean, he's by far above what I've had so far happen to me.
Peck says after cutting a hole in the back door, the guy crawled into the bar. He got into the ATM and stole cash. He then grabbed some booze before leaving. All of it costing Peck somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000.
To be robbed or stuff stolen out of your pocket that you can't get back is super frustrating.
Making matters even worse, Peck says just one night earlier, somebody broke into another one of his businesses, Mulligan's on Hawthorne.
And he tried to go to the ATM for a second and then just left it alone and then just went to the register. They don't look like the same guy.
Regardless, it's maddening and something Peck isn't dealing with alone. Break-ins are happening all over Portland. In fact, on Tuesday, we told you about several businesses on Southeast Division that have been hit in the last couple of weeks.
You know, this is my passion. This is what I love to do, and it's super frustrating. It's violating.
Started grabbing lots of booze.
A sentiment echoed by Nick Peck. But despite all of it, even a break-in that mirrors what we may see on the big screen, Peck chooses to stay positive.
They're just going to be little speed bumps, I guess. And I think we'll be, once the sun comes back out in spring, I think we'll all be in a better place.
Again, Nick Peck does not think the man behind the Thatcher's break-in is the same guy who got into Mulligan's, but he is not ruling out the possibility that he may be the same guy who targeted some of his businesses earlier in the pandemic. Either way, anyone with information about these cases should contact the Portland Police Bureau. Laurel.
As Peck mentioned, we're all looking forward to that better place. Thank you, Mike. A fire has torched Esther Short Park in Vancouver. Officials say most of the playground equipment is now unsafe to use and will be removed. The playground is closed in the meantime. The park was already set to get new equipment later this year. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Sandy Mayor Stan Pulliam has kicked off a new tour in his run for Oregon governor. The Republican candidate made his first stop today in Portland with a meet and greet at Heroes Cafe in downtown. One big topic is the ongoing homeless crisis. Mayor Pulliam says if he's elected, part of his plan would be to strengthen the police force.
Well, you need a variety of options with the homelessness crisis. There's a lot of things going on. There's mental health crisis, there's addiction services and everything else. But nobody pays any attention to the criminal element going on in our streets.
The mayor says he wants to triple the size of the Oregon State Police Force. His tour will continue in Central and Southern Oregon later this week. Vancouver has one sanctioned homeless site up and running, and the city's already greenlit funding to build 2 more. 20 tiny homes make up the city's first safe stay community, and each house can accommodate 2 people. They include heat, power, a secure door, and most importantly, wraparound services to help residents eventually get permanent housing. City leaders voted this week to spend more than $400,000 to buy more of these shelters made by a company called Pallet Shelter. City leaders say they wanted to buy more before the prices go up.
We looked at the success, taking it a little at a time, and we said, yeah, let's go for it. We know the prices are going to go up on all of those. We know that we have a goal for 2 more communities.
Locations for the 2 new sites have not been identified yet, although the mayor says the next one will be in West Vancouver. They hope to have it open in March. There's a Vancouver program aimed at improving dangerous neighborhood streets. The city asked for input on how to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Chris McGinnis meets a woman who prompted change by weighing in.
When I say people are doing 50 and 60 miles an hour on a residential street, I'm not kidding. I mean, it's frightening. And there's a school bus stop on my intersection.
Lori Christensen has lived along 155th Avenue in the Countryside Woods neighborhood of East Vancouver for more than 2 decades.
I was out working in the yard and a lady screaming at her kids, stop, 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 because they're bicycling towards the death zone.
The street has become a popular cut-through for drivers hoping to avoid busy traffic and long lights on 138th to the west and 164th off to the east. It's a narrower residential street with a park and bus stops, one located in the valley of a severe dip that creates a dangerous blind spot.
I just thought, we got to do something here.
Lori channeled years of frustration, entering her suggestion in Vancouver's traffic calming project.
It's a pretty simplistic program, but there are multiple steps, and residents really have to become the project champion. You know, they have to get out there and talk to their neighbors and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Do you support that?
Every year, the city calls for prospective safety improvement projects. Neighbors register their ideas online and champion that project through a competitive selection process.
We hope it's a relatively easy process, but it is a competitive process.
Funded with $300,000 from real estate and transportation taxes, 8 projects selected in 2021 will be completed this summer. Radar speed signs will be installed on Southeast 1st Avenue. Speed tables will be installed on Northeast 58th Street.
Speed cushions have actually been really popular for a long time.
Those will be installed along Northeast 155th Avenue. Lori Christensen couldn't be happier.
I complained and complained for years, and it was, you know, now that it's done, I'm not done, but now that the hard stuff is done and things are moving on, I'm really glad we did it.
Residents have until March 15th to fill out that online application. This year's process has been streamlined a little bit, and Lori says it's worth the effort. In East Vancouver, Chris McGinnis, KGW News.